Have you ever considered seller seminars? What is going on, party people? Chris Elliott again, local realtor, with another awesome guest for you, another treat. I've got a good friend, a mentor, somebody I look up to and aspire to be when I grew up, Mr. Jay D Alessandro from Fairfax, Virginia. Jay runs a monster team in Fairfax, like rags to riches stories. He literally started as a buyer's agent in the industry, working for a big name in the area, eventually rose through the ranks from what I understand, bought that business, now runs that business. Jay, welcome to the interview, my friend. How are you doing?
Hey, good, Chris. Good to connect with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you doing this. Jay's always been very generous with his time and his knowledge. Jay, just for context, just kind of as the hook here, how many agents do you guys have on the team, and how much volume did you guys do in 2024?
Yeah, so I have 31 agents on the team. 2 of those are in training, just got out of training. One of them just wrote their first contract. So last year we had 29 active agents. All of them stayed with me over the year, which is amazing because usually bigger teams, you get some turnover. And last year we did about $350 million in volume, 490 units total.
So my friends, that is a lot of commission dollars. If you were somebody like me that was on the bottom tier of the class and figure out the math. And Jay, I was looking for this information online, but you're so humble. Like, unlike most real estate agents, you didn't post it on your Facebook, 17 times. So I actually have to add you. And Jay, what I want to talk about specifically today, I would say you are one of the people that I look up to specifically for seller seminars, and want to do a deep dive on that.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know how much business that you guys closed this past year from seller seminars, or how much you could attribute towards that?
Yeah, so the direct seller seminar contacts in there, we can say is 72 listings. From those 72 listings, then we leveraged open houses, so multiple open houses, and then sign exposure. So we don't know the indirect result of it, but I can say direct result is 72 from seller seminars.
And I think a lot of us out there would love to have 72 listings from all of our collective lead sources. So that's pretty awesome. So Jay, just for context, for those that are maybe they've heard about it, but they don't know exactly what it is, what is a seller seminar?
So basically, it's where you're getting people to enroll, either coming onto a webinar version of a seller seminar, an in-person seller seminar where they would come and meet you, get face-to-face and share a meal. And then we walk through the steps of what to do to prepare, whether you're a couple months away or you're a few years away from selling your home, and creating relationships that way so that they don't go to Zillow and click on the agent that, that Zillow has. And we're a Zillow partner too. But, it's better if you can get them in the pipeline. Generally, those that attend the seller seminars are going to be higher price points. At least that's what we're seeing. And also they're older and they like those seller seminars. So we've been focused more on the in-person one versus the webinar version.
They like to be in person. They like free food, right?
Yeah. So Maggiano's is our Wednesday evening seller seminars. We do Panera Bread if we're doing a Saturday 10 a.m. to noon seller seminar.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Jay, how did you guys first start using seller seminars, and kind of what inspired you to start this strategy, or is it just a play that the team was already running when you joined?
No, so we started it 8 years ago. In conjunction, that is when I took over ownership along with my business partner. We were both buyer's agents on the team. I was the first. He joined me 3 years later. I was a school teacher and joined when it was just her, and then I became the buyer's agent. So that was 1998. So 8 years ago, we bought the company from her. She retired and we took over. And one of the things that we wanted to do is to still continue to just work on listing business, because a buyer business comes if you have listing business.
Amen.
So one of the ideas that we struck up was, let's do seller seminars, and we were scared to death. We were like, what if nobody signs up? What if nobody shows up? And we just went into our deep database of people that have been entered in there, just started inviting people, and people signed up. And that's how it happened.
And the rest is history. So what would you say are some of the bigger benefits of doing seller seminars as opposed to other lead channels? Like, why would you encourage somebody to consider this?
Well, you don't have a referral fee to pay to anyone. And like I said, you get higher price point people in general. You also get higher commission just because they see the value of what we do in that seller seminar situation. And then generally the energy of it is that people are in a room with other people in the same stage in their life, and the conversations are good. The meal kind of loosens them up, and then we get to just have fun with them. And then it's been great also for the newer agents on the team as they're growing, is that they get to practice, learn, be comfortable standing in front of people. They get to watch more experienced agents who've done seller seminars, because now we're doing 18 a year. When we first started, it was like 4 or 5. Then we're like, why are we not doing more of these? Then we went to monthly. Then we're like, this is great. Let's do 14. Then we went to 16, and now we do 18 a year. So they get repetition. I have a listing team. So the 8 listing agents will rotate. So 4 of them will do one seller seminar, and the other 4 will do other seller seminar. And if they're a newer agent on the team, they might only do a small portion, and then they grow into doing more as they feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I've also noticed with the seller seminars I've done is a seller may or may not be ready to have you out to their house in their domain, for a one-on-one sit down. But I feel like there's less pressure for them to come to your office, be in a group setting. There's not this fear that it's going to be a timeshare, sales approach. It's just a low pressure situation for that seller.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that, is that they feel like they don't have to have you in your house, but they can come to you. And some of them are also talking to other agents, and they just want to test us out.
Yeah.
So we're interviewing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So, Jay, if I was a newer, I mean, obviously you've got a huge operation that you guys have worked very hard to build. But if you were a newer agent, if you were starting over again and maybe you had a minimal budget, kind of what would you say? What would be the steps? What would be the simplest way to get started?
I'd say kind of the low budget ways is, do the things that you would naturally do when you're building a business, which is to add people to your database. So, we're both in the same coaching circle with Tom Ferry, and he'll just give you a list of how do you add people to your database. So, what activities do you do? What are some of your past clients that you have? What are some of your friends in your sphere that you can add into that database? And then if you do some people who don't know you and trust you yet, think about the referral partners that you work with now. So the title company that you give business to, the lender that you give business to, the termite inspector that you use, the home inspector that you use, and let them know as you're promoting your seller seminar that, hey, I'm doing this. I'd love for you to be there. So you get more butts in the seats.
Yep.
And they get to also learn who you are as a professional, because remember, you get to see them as they're doing a home inspection, the contractor who's doing the work, but they should see you and why they should refer business to you. So that should be your first focus when you're a newer agent, is just your referral partners and getting them in there, have a meal with them, enjoy it, and work for getting 8 people in there, because they're going to be your people who are going to be championing for you and know you already and trust you in that circle. Then if you want to take a step further, kind of a low budget thing is, if you've got an open house, whether it's your listing or another agent that you know that you're holding the open house for, ask permission if you can door knock the area around that open house. And if you can door knock that area around the house, certainly promote that house. But also, I'm going to screen share with you something that we do. We will go out there and put 180 of these flyers for every open house. Come on. See, I told you I'm not good on Google in terms of sharing. So where is this flyer? Can you see it?
I can see it. Yep.
Okay. So this flyer is just simply advertising this home that we're getting ready to launch and put on the market this weekend. What you'll notice is how many open houses that we're doing on one listing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. So we'll start on Thursday night, 4 to 6, Friday, 4 to 6. And we put this in also in the remarks in the MLS. And also in, do you have MLS Bright down there?
We're on Matrix.
Yeah, Matrix, but you can put it in there as well. And then we put the pretty pictures of the house that we have. We put recent sales in the neighborhood, the listing team, and bingo, seller seminar, the next two that are coming up. So 180, these go out to in there.
So you're sending these to, this is turning into a coaching session for me, so thank you.
Door knocking. This
so
is door knocking.
You're door knocking, promoting the open house, but on the back of the flyer, you're also putting a tidbit in there. And you scroll past it, but talk to me about your gift card strategy while we're on the topic.
Yeah, so the gift card strategy, like we'll pick like a good restaurant in the area. And if it's local to there, the better.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite pizza spot that everybody knows in that neighborhood goes to, the favorite coffee shop or the ice cream place, first 10 guests will be entered in a drawing for a gift card. Most people don't come for that, but it's kind of funny. And then was a year and a half ago, we had the Yeti things, the mugs. We had a picture of a Yeti, like first 10 guests will be entered in to win a Yeti.
I love it. I love it. And Jay, now why would you want the for somebody that's not connecting the dots, why would you want the neighboring homeowners to be coming to your open house? I mean, obviously they're not going to buy the house, right?
You're entering more people in the database. And you can also put in here, hey, do you know anyone that would love to live in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
So, you know, do you want to choose your own neighbor? So anything like that, inviting them and encouraging them. And only about 5% of the people will come, but everybody else got the flyer. And they see, whether you have a team or you're individual on there, they see, wow, that agent's doing seller seminars. They're running seminars. They know their stuff. They haven't even attended, but they see you as the authority because they're going to see this over and over. Now we get to brag. We've had over 1,100 neighbors that have attended the seminar. You know, we get to brag those kind of things, and you can change these topics up in here as needed.
Yeah. Well, you know what I love, Jay, is you're killing like 3 birds with 1 stone, right? Like you're promoting your open house, you're making your seller happy, you're encouraging people to come to the open house, you're encouraging people to come to the seller seminar, and even if they don't do any of those things, you're reinforcing your brand. And then of course, I'm sure there's something else that you guys send out when the home is sold. So if nothing else, you're just cementing yourself in their minds as the go-to agent.
Right. And so when they come, then you're trying to get their contact information. The best way to get it is, hey, we think this is going to sell above asking price. Let me just email you on Tuesday how many offers we got and what it sold for. I want you to be one of the first ones to know.
What does every seller want to know when their neighbor's home is on the market?
Yeah. And apologize that we're going to make their property taxes go up. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
Or somebody says, hey, what paint color did you use? Which contractor did you use? Oh, let me talk to the stager and I'll get you the information on that. What's your phone number and email? I'll send it to you.
I love it. I love it. So Jay, so you hit on a little bit like the topics that are covered in the seller seminar. So at the seller seminar, what are you going through? What are you talking about? How does somebody curate? Because I can already see somebody's like head spinning of like, what am I going to talk to these folks about?
Yeah. So when we first started, we cluttered it up with title attorney, contractor, organizer, stager, and it was too many people, too long, and the prospective sellers that I wanted to build a relationship with, they would go to those different people and vendors. So I don't invite anyone anymore.
Yeah.
We're the authority. We're the portal to get contact with those people. So we'll talk about our ability to help them with, hey, Concord Hauling does all of our hauling for us. This company does all of our organizing for us. We have an amazing stager that we work with that can help you. We have great contractors that save you money. So before and after case studies and success stories is what we share a lot. So that's the main focus of it. And we're also mindful of those sellers who don't want to do much. So we'll put up examples of houses that we sold off market, where we got the seller great terms and conditions, got to stay in the house long time. And if you're starting out, you probably aren't going to have a lot of these examples. So borrow from a hot top producer in your neighborhood, in your office. Ask permission.
Yeah.
To say, hey, can I share this case study? It's an amazing one. I love what you did. So you could do that. And then you could also just pull up statistics of, hey, in this town, these are all the homes that sold before they went on the market. You could just do a little thumbnail of each one. You don't have to pretend that you didn't sell them. Say, hey, these are the ones that sold in your area. You don't have to clarify for them. So they see that you're in there. And then we talk about, hey, these are the homes that sold as is. Here's a sampling of some homes that sold as is. So you don't have to do anything. So we'll put a slide up of, hey, we sold 230 homes last year. Those are sellers. We have a bunch of buyers, and these homes sold with 0 to 10,000 investment to get their home ready. These homes took 10,000 to 25,000 investment, and then some of these sellers spent more than 25,000 to get their homes ready, and that's a smaller sample size. And we talk about why some sellers choose to do that. Because they want to set a record price. They needed more money. We had the resources to help them do that. And then we jump into homes that we were able to set record prices, how we did it. And then we back off and go, hey, but this one sold just the way it was. The seller did updates 15 years ago. We even asked them to leave some of the wallpaper up in this area, and we got them a great price. They didn't have to do anything. So you're balancing all of that. So the content, you've got to read who you are and practice it and adjust it and change it like every 4 to 6 months as you do it. So that's how we do. We also run some statistics. So right now we're talking a lot about, hey, federal government layoffs and the changes in the federal government. There's been some social media stuff out that tons of houses have come on the market in the DMV area. For those of you who don't know, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. And we actually show a graph chart compared over the last 5 years. Did the inventory really jump or not? So we're educating them on some of those things. We also talk about the commission lawsuit. That's a great way to actually get people to sign up, is to talk about who's benefiting from the commission lawsuit. And we get people who are interested in learning about that to come to our seller seminar. We spend time talking about what happened, how it used to be, how it is now, and what are the real statistics. And we have some statistics from a local title company that have told us, hey, in the last 6 months, this is what it's been in terms of buyer agent commission that's been paid out. These two had 0 buyer agent commission. So we share that kind of strategy of what are the real numbers, the truths and the myths behind it.
Yeah. So would you say, what I'm hearing and what I've experienced doing these myself, it's basically you're just doing a listing presentation at scale, and you're just thinking through like, what are the topics of conversation that come up on these appointments, and you're basically just hitting on like, here's the frequently asked questions that we tend to get. Would that be a fair synopsis?
It is. We do take a few questions. Just make sure that you're careful on doing it. Like if you're doing your first one and you've got success with 8 people coming, that's going to be easier. And scale where you're going to meet. Like we have it in a big room because we'll have 24 to 46 people show up. So that's a huge event. For you, maybe that's starting out. For a newer agent, if you get 6 people coming, great. If you got some vendors coming, great. Scale the size of the room depending on what you need. And also try again to have a local company that everybody likes, a restaurant or something, food from there. I don't know what's a favorite restaurant around there, but like, hey, we love supporting local business, so we're getting catered food from wherever. We do Maggiano's because it's a national brand and everybody knows it here. And our 60+ people, they love going there.
And would you say if you're going to spend money anywhere, like spend money on good food so people want to come out, like don't go cheap on the food, basically?
I would say that we have a budget of like around $1,000 for our
Yeah.
seller seminar. And if that's not your budget, then partner with your other people. And you may have to have a trust attorney come and speak and
Yeah.
give them 5 minutes in there and you partner with them. You know, you might have to have a hauling company or a professional organizer come and split the cost with them.
Yeah. So
And
basically just
give 'em a
figure it
little
out.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no one way to do it. But I want to get back to Chris on how to get more people, because I think the
Yep.
content works itself out, because if you can get enough people to sign up, you'll figure it out. It might be the night before that you're working on the slides.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. But I think the key is really getting enough people there. And I have just some other ideas that I would recommend using to reach out to more people to get them there. So we're coached again by Tom Ferry, and then we've also been on Listing Leads with Jimmy Mackin. Plug for him because I think he has a lot of good information on there. Listingleads.com.
Yeah.
It's an inexpensive investment of $99 a month. Get great ideas. If you can't afford that right now, follow Jimmy Mackin on Instagram. He shares a bunch of his stuff on there.
Yeah.
That's Mackin. I think he's a true gift to our ecosystem. But he encouraged us to do Zestimates. And I and the listing agents all did Zestimates for the 200 to 400 people that were in our databases. So these
Break
are
that
all
down for folks. What is this estimate when you say that, for somebody that doesn't know?
Yeah. So best way is for me to pull up. See if I can screen share again. I'm going to actually share something else first, because if I don't screen share it, then I'll forget. So can you see this ad? So this is an ad that we do in a neighborhood community newsletter. So you may live in an area, whether it's in your neighborhood or the next neighborhood, that has a community newsletter. And it's usually like $400, $500 to advertise in their newsletter per year, right? So how do I scroll up on this? I'm sorry, I'm not tech savvy. Why is it not going up? At the bottom, it has a seller seminar information on there.
It looks really cool on the bottom.
Yes, it looks amazing. But I can't show it to you because Chris likes to do Google Meets and I do Zoom, and I can't scroll on here.
I apologize, my friend.
No problem. But at the same time, you know, I'm going to just pull up what a Zestimate is too, because this is something that you can do on your own. And I just sent out a sample to my agents, because we have a bunch of buyer agents who now have past clients that they're sharing this with. So here's a Zestimate. So this is somebody that I've been trying to meet with. And I say, hey, Denise, I was online helping a seller near you and ran across your home on Zillow. And I take a screenshot of what's on Zillow. Hey, thinking of selling in the next 3 years. Hey, we've had over 2,000 homeowners in Nova area sign up for a seminar. I'd love for you to attend. We unpack commission changes. Will federal government changes affect the real estate market? How to sell without updates, planning for updates, what will get you the best ROI? Here's a link to sign up. So an Eventbrite link. It's as simple as that. And if you've got a teenager in the household, or you can afford a virtual assistant that you're paying $600 or $700 a month, they could do this for all of your past clients, all of your sphere. And not only do I email this, I print it out, I put it in a black envelope with my business card and say, and I put a little note on there, Denise, I emailed this to you, but just in case you missed the email, I'm just sending you a hard copy. So this costs very little to be able to send it out. And Chris, you probably have that link where you can order stamps for 17 cents each. We got that from Listing Leads, right?
Where's what is that name, by the way? I've been searching for that.
I will send it to you, and then
Okay.
you can share
Okay.
with anybody that's interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great way of just getting a simple, inexpensive way to get some mail out the door to get some interest. Even if people don't sign up for the seller seminar, you're engaging with them.
Totally.
And then when you call them, it's an easier phone call.
Yeah, totally. So Jay, you let's say they've gotten the venue, they've gotten people there, they did the seller seminar, they've kind of figured it out, and I agree with you. Like, get butts in the seat, and I promise you, you'll figure out what to say. So, like, would you say the folks that the business you derive from seller seminars, do they just like at the end of it start clapping and say, "Where's the listing agreement? And how do I get started?" Or how does it actually work after the seller seminar?
So we've scaled it because we have multiple agents that are doing it. We have some techniques which you don't need to worry about, but we have like name tags for them, and we have a little sticky that's inside the name tag that has their name, address, phone number, and email. So when the agents connect with them during break and at the end, they're saying, "Hey, I hope you like the information. Do you want me to just pop by for 20 minutes and just give you a consult if you're planning ahead?" It's as simple as that. So we did one last Tuesday, and there was a lower attendance because there was a fear of a snowstorm. And we had 8 households in there, and we set up 7 consults. So 7 of the 8 allowed us to set up an appointment to come to their house. We took 2 listing paperwork already. 975,000, 1.2 million. They're both going on the market.
Not a bad day. So just to repeat this back to you, so I got it. So you are basically offering a very like easy, no pressure, just, hey, if you want me to pop by for 20 minutes, kind of talk.
Yeah.
And they're either ready to have that conversation or they're not, basically.
Right. And some people, they're planning ahead for a year, 2 years down the road. So they're not ready to meet. So we put them in our database, and the agents are continuing to follow up with them, invite them to events. If we have an open house near them, we'll invite them to the open house. And then we'll also send in a year, we'll send them another invite to a seller seminar. Hey, we have some new information. So we change content every 6 months. And they will not only get email invitation, text information, invitation, but we'll also do a little card with information written out with 2 tickets to the next seller seminar. And they're golden tickets to the next seller seminar.
So there are levels to this. I love it. So, and the thing I've always told like agents that I've worked with is, you want to make it seem very light and very like not heavy and not serious. But I've always found that if somebody's willing to invite you in their home, no matter like there's a certain level of intent there and engagement if they're having you over their house.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain level of seriousness from a yeah.
I think we all know that when you get belly to belly with somebody and then you're in their house, you're like 75% of the way there.
It's a different deal.
Yeah. So whether they're selling in 6 months or 6 years, they're always going to remember you. When you send the home bot or the fellow updates on their home value every month or something, they're going to remember you. You're not just a Zillow sending an update of theirs. And so you're staying in contact with them. And then one of the other things that we do is that we have a flyer there for the next 2 seller seminars. Said, hey, I hope you got a lot out of this. Here's a flyer in there. Can I count on you to just invite one more person to the next seller seminar? And if you want to come with them, great. You're going to get great food. I'm going to enjoy seeing you. So we've had sellers come to 4 seller seminars before they sold.
Put on 20 pounds, but you ended up getting the business. So Jay, where do you see, I know you've become kind of the go-to guy for this strategy in the Tom Ferry ecosystem. Where do you see agents screwing this up? What are kind of the mistakes to avoid with this strategy?
They just don't do it, and they don't stay consistent, or they try it once and say, hey, I only had 2 people sign up, and then they give up.
Yeah.
So they just didn't show up because you didn't do a good enough job getting the word out there. And also you didn't stay consistent. So you just got to be consistent, because even if they don't show up, their timing is not there yet, but they will eventually come.
And I feel like you still get the brownie points for marketing, even if no one shows up. The folks that didn't show up, like you, it was still an excuse to reach out to them, right?
Right. And if you're a beginning agent, you're not going to have that many listings. So here's a good way to advertise that doesn't say, hey, I just sold this house and it was an amazing store. We helped John and Kathy move to Florida. And, you know, I was able to help them with these things and we got that many offers. So you don't have as many of those case studies and stories to share. So why not invite them to stuff? Because that's the easiest phone call, is to invite people to stuff. So if you're doing a client event, you're doing a seller seminar. One other thing that I'd also highly recommend is advertise on Nextdoor. Nextdoor advertising is pretty cheap, and make it so that it's not a static post. Do a short little video. We just started doing it 2 months ago, and we had 6 people sign up on Nextdoor for seller seminars. You can spend $1 a day per zip code, per area. And I don't know if it's zip code or neighborhood or whatever, but you can spend $1 a day and advertise on Nextdoor. A lot cheaper than the postcards that we send out.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, Jay, I appreciate your time here today. You've been very gracious. You always have. Any parting advice that you would give to somebody that is considering this? They're excited, they're inquisitive, they're curious. What would be your parting advice for them?
I would say set a goal for yourself to do 4 in a year. Okay, do that, and then go through the action steps of, when you're doing the flyers, you put on there the QR code or text for the next seller seminar. So if you have one already set up in April, and then when you're doing flyers leading all the way up to April, you're inviting them to that. You're inviting them on Nextdoor to that. You're inviting them. If you have a small farm of, let's say, 600 people, every card has that message on there. Sign up for our next seller seminar. And just stay consistent and commit to doing the 4 in the year, even if only 2 people show up. That's what I would do, is that don't stop and just keep on going. Because imagine if 2 people show up, 2 different households, that's 2 listing appointments that you've created.
Yeah.
That's valuable. Don't think like, I need to get 20 people there, and then just stay consistent with that. And if you want to help each other, you have a friend in a different market in the area, go to their seller seminar, have them come to your seller seminar. So you just get more butts in there, and then you help each other. Hey, I've invited agents to come to my seller seminar. If they're thinking of joining my team, if I want to just help them and like I'm helping you, just to see how we do it. Because honestly, even if they're next door to me, they're not going to do it. They think they're going to do it, but they're not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah, one of my agents just texted me a card of, oh, this other agent, their small team is doing a seller seminar. I'm like, don't worry, guys. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Let them do it. They might do 1, maybe 2, and then they'll give up. Because I've watched and tracked agents who are doing it, and then I don't see them advertising it anymore.
Yeah.
So just stay consistent, because you and I know consistency is the key, really, in terms of succeeding in this. So if you just stay consistent, it's going to discipline you. It's going to have you doing stuff that you're going to be working towards every quarter to be able to do it. I will also give you helpful hints, is that fall is a great time to do it, October, November, because people are getting ready for next year. And I believe end of January and March are also a great time to do it. So let's say you only set up for 3 in that first year. Just work for those targets, and it's not too late to do one now if you want to put this into action.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Jay, thank you for your time, my friend. I appreciate it as always. I owe you one, and thanks for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Chris. Best wishes for an amazing season.
You as well, my friend.
Bye.